What if I told you that one of the greatest English teachers who ever lived never wrote a textbook, that he never stepped into a classroom, yet he shaped the way millions speak today? Close your eyes and imagine a man writing by candlelight in a tiny room filled with ink, paper, and fire. His words, they made kings tremble, lovers weep, and audiences cheer, and they still do. Why Shakespeare still teaches you better English than any textbook. If you want to speak English with more style, more heart, and more power, this is your moment. Let's uncover the secrets of Shakespeare. Welcome to Stories to Learn English, the channel where your English gets better every day. Hit subscribe and let's get started. William Shakespeare was born in 1564 in a small English town called Stratford upon Avon. He never went to university, and yet his words would one day echo across the world. By the time he was 30, he had become the voice of the stage in London. Over his lifetime, he wrote 37 plays and 154 sonnets. Stories of love, power, jealousy, revenge, ambition, and dreams. But Shakespeare didn't just write stories, he created emotions with ink. He shaped the English language like a sculptor shapes stone. He invented new words, gave life to forgotten ones, and used everyday speech like poetry. Expressions we still use today, like break the ice, heart of gold, or wild goose chase, came from his pen. So, what if his plays weren't just old literature? What if they were blueprints for mastering English, naturally, expressively, beautifully? Because the truth is this: Shakespeare didn't teach rules, he taught rhythm, he taught feeling, he taught power. And that might be exactly what your English needs. Shakespeare didn't just write for kings and scholars, he wrote for everyone. For the poor in the street, for the rich in the palace, for people like you and me. He took simple ideas and dressed them in beauty. He compared life to a stage, love to a storm, time to a thief. His language wasn't plain, it was alive, full of color, movement, emotion. Take this line: all the world's a stage, and all the men and women merely players. With just a few words, he turns life into a performance. You're not just living, you're acting out your own story. Or this: shall I compare thee to a summer's day? A love poem, yes, but also a masterclass in simile, rhythm, and charm. And the vocabulary, rich, expressive, unforgettable. Words like vanish, torment, betray, glory, fate, they weren't just in dictionaries. He gave them soul. Even his insults were poetic. You have such a February face, so full of frost, of storm and cloud. It's more powerful than any textbook phrase. By reading or even just listening to Shakespeare, you absorb the rhythm of real English, the beauty of metaphors, the art of emotion in words, and that's how his language becomes your secret weapon. Not just to speak English, but to feel it. What makes someone sound truly confident in English? It's not just perfect grammar, it's not a British or American accent. It's how you choose your words, how you deliver them. That's what Shakespeare mastered and what you can learn from him. He didn't just write, it's hard to speak the truth. He wrote, truth is truth to the end of reckoning. Feel the weight of that, the elegance? Shakespeare played with rhythm. He balanced short words with long ones, soft sounds with strong ones, like music, but made of meaning. He also knew when to be direct. To thine own self, be true. 7 simple words that say more than a full paragraph. This is eloquence, saying something deep, clearly, and beautifully. It's what helps you in interviews, in presentations, in love, in life. And here's a secret: The more you listen to Shakespeare, the more you start thinking in richer English. You begin to replace every sad with heartbroken, or I'm angry with I burn with rage. You don't just speak English, it's you speak with presence, with purpose, with power. Let's make this real. How can you actually use Shakespeare to improve your English starting today? First, repeat short phrases from his plays, not to memorize, but to feel the rhythm of powerful language. Take this classic, to be or not to be, that is the question. Say it out loud. Feel the pause, the tension, the contrast. It's not just a sentence, it's a moment. Now simplify it. Should I do it or not? That's the meaning, but Shakespeare makes it unforgettable. Here's another. The lady doth protest too much, methinks. Meaning, she's overreacting. But his version, more style, more drama, more impact. Want to sound more fluent? Replace plain words with vivid ones. Instead of happy, try overjoyed or ecstatic. Instead of angry, say furious or outraged. Shakespeare did that, and so can you. You can also copy his techniques. Use metaphors. My mind is a battlefield. Use contrast. I love her and I fear her. Use rhythm. Speak less, say more. And look around. His style is everywhere, in movie scripts, in political speeches, even in song lyrics. Shakespeare didn't vanish, he evolved. So when you practice English, don't just repeat grammar rules, play with your words, experiment with emotion. Because language isn't just information, it's expression. You might think Shakespeare's too old, too complicated. But the truth is, his words are more alive than ever. They're in courtrooms, classrooms, and conversation. They echo in famous speeches. They live in the way people express pain, passion, or pride. When you study his language, you're not just learning English. You're unlocking a superpower. Imagine walking into a job interview and speaking with confidence. Imagine writing an email that sounds natural but also elegant. Imagine telling a story, not just with words, but with impact. That's what Shakespeare gives you: vocabulary with soul, structure with rhythm, and emotion with purpose. He turned language into art, but also into connection between hearts, between cultures, between centuries. So don't be afraid of the old words. Dive into them. Let them challenge you. Let them change you. Because if a man from 400 years ago can still teach the world how to speak, then maybe you're just one story away from mastering English yourself. So, what did we discover today? That Shakespeare wasn't just a playwright, he was a master of English. That his words are more than poetry, they're tools for expression. That learning with him means going beyond grammar. It means learning to speak with heart. We saw how metaphors, rhythm, powerful vocabulary, and emotional clarity can transform the way you speak and understand English. And now, it's your turn. Take one phrase you heard today, just one, and use it. Say it out loud. Write it down. Make it yours. Comment below with your favorite Shakespearean word or quote. Let's learn from each other. And if this story inspired you even a little, share it with someone who's learning English. You never know who might need this spark today. Subscribe for more real life stories, more powerful lessons, and more ways to make English part of your story. Remember, Shakespeare didn't have apps or grammar books. He had passion, curiosity, and the courage to play with language. So speak boldly, learn deeply, and never underestimate the power of your words.